Hello guys, welcome back to another YouTube video of Tank for today. Today we're doing well, boys and girls. I'm glad you asked because today we are back on World Tanks console. That's right, we're doing on World Tanks console their tank. Well, I'm glad you asked again because today we're taking a look at the new, all singing, all dancing Japanese main battle tank line. That's right, they're finally in World Tanks console, and long waited for them. Ooh, so excited are we? Yes, we are so excited for this new Japanese main battle tank line. Though I gotta say, the three of the tanks, if you played World War II, you've probably either played at least maybe two of them if you're more of a player that don't buy premium tanks. What I mean is that it's because two of them are actually tech tree tanks, just converted into Cold War. The third one is a premium tier 8, which is the one we're sitting here looking at right now. Is normally a tier 8 premium in World War II, but they did right here in Cold War. So means if you don't like playing or don't want to buy premium vehicles and you just want to play tech tree vehicles, there you go. You could get to play the STA-3, which, like I said, is a Tier A premium in World War II. Here in Cold War, it's an Era 1 Tech Tree vehicle with its 90 mil gun. So, yeah. But I'm expecting at least a couple of these vehicles not have the best armor within the Tech Tree line. Due because, well, STA-3 and the other one, Type 61, doesn't have really the best armor in World War II, so I'm expecting them to, carry their armor over to Cold War as well. So, yeah. Let's get right into it though today. Though, if you haven't caught any of my other types of videos like this, what we do in this type of video is that we go over some of the stats, like the gun stats, the armor, and all of that. We don't go over in full depth and detail about every vehicle. Sorry for that. I just hit my hand. Um, we just go over some of the more like gun stats and a few other things about the vehicle and of course the armor because the armor is the most important thing to know about and stuff like that on all of these vehicles. Now keep in mind too that this is all the vehicles are completely stock. I already did a video covering about them kind of more upgraded and stuff a few days ago, so yeah. But let's get right into it. It was enough of the jibber jabber. So the STA-3. So standard with its standard ammunition is 219 millimeters of penetration. Its premium rounds gets around 320, and HE gets about 45. 240 damage for both its standard and premium rounds, and 320 for its HE. Hit points is 1,650. Of course, that's normally what this vehicle has, which is not bad. But then you get tanks like the FB405 Stage 2, right around down here at Eros 1, does nearly 1,100 and some damage, so that doesn't seem pretty healthy against a tank like that, doesn't it? Of course, it gets two guns, the not two variations of the 90 mil gun, and it looks like the only difference with the fully upgraded one is, of course, the rate of fire and accuracy. Otherwise, it looks like you keep the pen and you keep the damage. And of course, you get AP, heat, and HE as your standard ammunition. Of course, like I said, AP, heat, and HE. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over to armor. Of course, these vehicles, are typical armor. Isn't really the best for these Japanese tanks, but it is what it is. So we got 6 meter sickness, which is the mud flaps. And of course the exhaust, the exhaust. What is it called again? Exhaust vents or something like that. Yeah. Please tell me if I got the name right in the comments down below. Then we have this little box thingy in the back of the tall, and then we have these. What are those called? I'm not sure what they're called, but they're on the engine deck. Then we have a little like toolbox on the side of the turret, and yeah, we have 10 meter sickness, which is these little cage thingies on the sides of the turret, plus these two little bits in the back of the turret, and these two little boxes in the rear of the hull, and the main area where the exhaust comes out of. I'm not sure what those are called. And then we have 12 meter thickness, which is above the tracks, and a little bit of the fighting compartment of the hull, and these little view range finders on the top of the turret, and the belly of the tank, as you can see, is basically like a boat ship, like a M60. We have 18 meter thickness, which it looks like the turret ring, the turret roof, and the like that. What do you want to call that? It's like a thing from Star Wars, from the Gunkins, from Naboo and stuff. Yeah, I know. Plus, also you got the commander's hatch as well, and below of the where the ammunition gets stored at in the turret. We got 20 meter thickness, which is the tracks, which acts like space armor. The rear is the tall, and plus these little check links right here, plus the driver's port. We have 25 meter thickness, which is the sides of the hull, and a little bit around the gun mantlet as well. Yeah. And then we have 35 meter thickness, which is the main spot in the front where the holds the front drive wheel and left and right of the turret hull, which I call those cheeks, and plus the gun itself. Yeah. Oh yeah, and plus it looks like a little bit of the driver's port too. Huh. But you have 40 meter thickness, which is the bottom of the turret, right back down here, and the rear of the turret, and a little bit of the commander's hatch and the forehead, and plus right below the gun mantlet so as well, around the gun as well. It looks like 45 meter thickness, which is the top plate or the main upper plate armor, which is 45 meter thickness, which is with the sloping, so it kind of gives it a little bit like basically. I think it. Please miscorrect me if I am wrong. With the sloping and stuff, and if you do go over a climb with your gun depression, you will actually make that. I believe I could be wrong. About 50 meter thickness. Now this right here is kind of a little bit weird. 50 meter thickness of the lower plate. I would say put that the upper plate and make the lower plate 45, but whatever. We got 60, which is the left and right of the turret, and plus the cupola again. We have 70, which is the cheeks and the bottom part of the gun mantlet. We have 90, which is above and bottom of the gun mantlet, and then 124, which is the actual gun mantlet in the middle. So yeah, this thing is not really going to be bouncing too many rounds. And down here at Era 3, or not Era 3, my bad. Era 1, it's not going to be bouncing barely anything at Era 1. But this tank does lead into the Type 61 Model B. So, yeah, there you go. But that is the STA-3. Pretty nice looking tank. And now let's go and look at the, well, Type 61 Model B. Yeah, this thing, you can tell it's got a big old weak spot on top of the turret, but I don't think that's really going to matter, because the armor might not be the best armor in the vehicle. Of course, free upgrade, it does lead into the STB-169, which is a Tier 9 medium tank for the Japanese. With the Type 61, I believe it's a... I believe this vehicle is the Tier 9 Japanese medium tank in World War II, so yeah. Oh wait, I forgot to do one thing before we go to the armor. So with its main caliber gun, which of course only has one type of gun, penetration is 219 with its standard rounds, 320 with its premium rounds, and 45 with HE. Damage is 240 for both its premium and the standard rounds, and 320 with HE. And hit points is 1,750, which is alright, but again, with something like a Death Star, well, actually not Death Star, that'd be too much. The ship barn, I should say, yeah, it's not going to be looking that great and comfortable of playing a vehicle, but I don't think these vehicles are going to be great with the idea of being spotted, though we are talking about Cold War here, so True Vision is going to be a pain in the butt talks for these vehicles, because these vehicles are going to lie on stealth more likely, because the armor is not going to be there, and the hit points are just going to be basically nothing against if a FB405 shoots at you, so yeah. Pretty much a bad idea there, right? Yeah. So, about the armor of the vehicle. So, let's cover the armor of the vehicle. Actually, you know what? Let's go and see what type of ammunition this vehicle has. Okay, so it has AP, heat, and HE. Not bad. So, the armor of the vehicle now. So we got 6 meter thickness, which is the mud flaps area above the tracks, plus this little box thingy in the rear of the tall, and again these little vent thingies on the engine deck. And we have 10 meter thickness, which is these two boxes in rear of the turret, these bibs and bobs over the turret, and these, I believe, the exhaust or the things that protects these exhaust vents um, on the sides of the hull, plus these two mud flap pieces back here, and that little bit back in the rear of the hull. Then we have 12 meter thickness, which is a little bit of the belly, um, part of the fighting compartment, plus the little view range finders, plus where the driver sits as well, and plus above the tracks as well. We have 18 meter thickness, which is the roof of the turret and the turret ring, a little bit of it, plus the bottom of the turret in the rear. We have 20 meter thickness, which is the tracks and this little bib in the back of the hull and another spot as well back here, plus these two little like box areas, which I'm guessing sits right beside the exhaust vents, plus these little hooks on the front of the turret as well. About 25 meters thickness, which is the bottom of the tank, or I should say the belly of the front of the tank, and then also it looks like where the driver sits, plus the little gun machine gun port on top of the turret, and the rear of the hull as well. We have 30 meters thickness, which is the sides of the hull. We got about 35 meters thickness, which is where the track sits on the sides of the hull, plus the cheeks of the turret hull, plus the rear of the turret and the bottom part of the rear of the turret, and the gun itself. We have 40 meters thickness, which is the sides of the turret and the forehead itself, and somewhat behind the gun mantlet as well. Looks like we have 45 meters thickness, which is the little machine gun port again. We have 50, which is the lower plate. We have 55, which is the upper plate, which this makes a little bit more sense, even though it's not that much more armor, about 5 more thickness armor than the fit. Oops, my bad. The 50 for the lower plate, but this actually does make a little bit more sense, in my opinion. And like I said, even though it might feel a little bit more if you're using the full gun depression and the sloping and stuff, so making it, I believe, about 60 meter thickness. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I am wrong. And we have 60, which is the, well, bottom part of the turret itself, plus around, or the bottom part of the machine gun port itself. I should say mostly like the cheeks of the whole turret. Then we have 70, which is around the turret itself, or the cheeks of the turret, actually. I guess, what would you call those parts right there? Huh. We have 90, which is a bottom and above the gun mantlet, or, yeah, bottom and above, top of the gun mantlet. And then we have 124, which is the middle bit and well, basically like a T. If you turn it upside down, uh, it's a T if you turn it the other way around. So yeah. But yeah, that is the Type 61 Model B. Next is the STB-169, which is the Tier 10 Japanese medium tank in World War II. And this is where you're going to be start seeing the unique suspension, where it gets the automatic suspension for it, so you could get more. I believe you get more accuracy or something like that, or you get more gun depression than the previous two tanks. So yeah. Penetration with your standard ammunition is 258, with premium rounds is 330, and with HE is 210. Damage is 390 for both your premium and standard rounds, and 480 for your HE. Hit points is 1,750, and of course your max speed is 53 miles per hour with the suspension for the vehicle itself. And of course, this vehicle leads into the Era 2 Type 74, so yeah. The vehicle also gets AP, APDS, a heat, and a G. And yeah, let's go over the armor. And again, because this is a Japanese tank, its armor is not the best, but yeah. We got 6 meter thickness, which is the mud flaps a little bit, and these little bibs and bobs around the hull, and these little mud flap parts on the side of the rear, not side, the rear of the hull. Yeah. We have 10 meter thickness, which is the, again, the engine deck and these bibs and bobs around the turret and stuff like that. We have 12 meter thickness, which is the well, some of the belly of the tank and these little parts in the back of the hull. We have 15 meter thickness, which is these side bits right here, both left and right of the hull. We have 20 meter thickness, which is the tracks and the little track links on the front of the hull, which, the tracks acts like space armor, so heat HE rounds won't do as much of a big effect. 25 meter thickness, which is the outer part of the belly of the tank and press the fighting compartment and the rear of the hull and the turret, and a little bit of the cupola as well. Then we have 35 meters thickness, which is the sides of the hull, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like some parts on the turret as well. 45, not 45, 40 meters thickness, which is where the driver sits of the hull and the gun, and little bibs and bobs around the turret, and looks like somewhat of the roof of the turret as well. We got 50 meter thickness, which where the driver sits, and these two parts right here of the turret, not hall, and a area on the roof of the turret as well. We have 60 meter thickness, which is the well another spot on the top of the roof of the turret and up front of the one of the cupolas, and these bibs and bobs on the side of the turret. We have 70, which is again a little bit of these little spots both left and right of the turret. Then we have 80, which is the upper plate, the lower plate, and it looks like where the driver sits. And spots on the turn again as well, with also the cupola. We have 85, which is around the gun mantlet. We have 95, which is on the gun mantlet a little bit here, but here and there. 100, which is the left and right of the turret. We have 110, which I just don't see it. It might be on the turret, it might be on the gun mantlet. Oh wait, there it is. It is what? Okay. It is that like little line right there, as you can see, where the low plate and the upper plate meets. Okay. We have 115, which is the turret gun mantlet. We have 120, which is again left and right of the turret. Hmm. We have 125, which is again around the gun mantlet. We have 135, which again around the gun mantlet. 140, which is on the left and right of the turret, and 143, which is on the gun mallet, 150 again on the gun mallet, and 160, which is again looks like this time is behind the gun mallet or the sides of the gun mallet. 170, which again it looks like it's spots around the gun mallet. 180, which is right below the gun mallet a little bit and above it as well, which is actually the cheeks of the turret. 195, which is on the bottom of the gun mantlet, and I don't think it's on the top. 204, which is inside the gun, and 205, no, 204, I should say. 205, which is below the gun mantlet a little bit, and 220, which is again around the gun mantlet, and 240, which is again around the gun mantlet, and 250, which is inside the gun again. So, yeah. Wow, that's a good bit around the gun mallet, but that doesn't mean this vehicle is going to be immune against mostly the FB405. But yeah, this vehicle can be very fast and stuff, very mobile and all of that. But yeah, the STB 169 now was set into era 2 of the tanks. And this is the Type 74, which you could be miscorrected. It looks like the STB-1, but to be honest, the STB-1 is actually a prototype of the Type 74. So, yes, you're going from a prototype variation of the vehicle into the actual model of the vehicle itself. So, yeah, standardly, and again, this thing goes about 60 miles per hour due because of the, suspension and stuff like that. But standard penetration is 347 with 430 for premium rounds and 250 for HE. 460 damage for both your standard and premium rounds, and 570 for HE. Hit points is 2,150, which is a lot more better than the previous Era 1 tanks, but this time you really don't have to worry about FE405s, but this time you're going to have something else to worry about, ATGMs. Yes, ATGMs are going to be your biggest downfall because the majority of them will be doing about 1,000 some damage to you, so that's going to be taking half your hit points away. So yeah, not the best idea. But this vehicle does lead into the Type 74 Model E. And, of course, the ammunition the vehicle carries is APFSDS, Heat, and HE. So yeah, now let's go to the armor. And again, it looks like the same thing. It is basically the same tank that we said previously, yep, English. The STB-1, but this is just the actual tank itself. So yeah. But we got 6 minutes thickness of armor, which is these bibs and bobs all over the hull and the turret, and plus the flank compartment as well inside, and where the ammunition gets hit. So shoot on this side over here in the front, and you'll be hitting the ammunition. 10-meter thickness, which is bibs and bobs on the turret and the back of the hull, and again on the engine deck as well. 12-meter thickness, which is the belly of the tank, and plus these real view rangefinders and plus the view rangefinders on the driver port. Huh. I don't know why I thought the track was something else. Sorry for that. 20-meter thickness, which is the tracks and the track link on the hull, and this little hatch right here. 25-meter thickness, which is the outer part of the belly of the tank, and plus looks like the rear of the tank and the engine, the fighting compartment of the hull. 35-meter thickness, which is the sides of the hull, and yeah, that's it. We got 37-meter thickness, which is the rear of the turret. We got 40, which is the upper plate where the driver's port and the gun, and bottom of the turret as well as the rear. We got 50, which is the left and right bits right there in the front of the hull and the driver's port. We got 60, which is left and right of the gun mallet. 67, which is left and right of the hull turret and the forehead of the turret. We got 70, which is the not gun, turret ring. 80, which is the upper plate and the lower plate and a little bit of the driver's port and the cupola. We got 110, which is that mid plate on the front of the hull. We have 132, which is the left and right of the turret. We have 140, which it looks like these little like machine gun ports on the front of the turret where the gun man is. 165, which is the gun mallet, a little bit of the gun mallet. 175, which is the gun mallet again, and 195, which is the middle part of the gun mallet. So yeah, that's not bad for the Type 74. So yeah, that is the Type 74 tank out of the way. This thing just looks so beautiful, but the armor could be pretty questionable. Next is the Type 74E, and this thing looks so cool looking, even with that big like flashlight type of thing. I wonder if that's gonna be like a model of the vehicle and stuff. I hope it is, to be very honest and stuff like that. But of course, this vehicle does lead into the Type 74G. So yeah, and the ammunition you carry is, of course, APFSCS, Heat, and HE rounds. And let's talk about the other things about the vehicle. And again, yes, this vehicle gets that expansion, so that's why it has that little bar where it says 60 miles per hour. So our standard ammunition gets about our APFSDS round, whatever. I'm just going to call it standard. I'm not going to repeat that. It gets about 347 meters penetration. With premium rounds, it gets 430, and HE rounds gets 250. Damage is 460 for both your standard and premium rounds, and 570 for your HE. Hit points is 2,300, so a little bit more, but still Not that great against AT-GMs. We're just going to find out how good these vehicles are going to play against AT-GMs at this era. And next is the armor. You thought it was going to be the armor next. Everyone? You got A. So let's go ahead and start. So we got 6 mirror sickness, which is these bibs and bobs all over the turn, the hall, and inside the turn hall as well, with also the fighting compartment. Again, if you just aim over here on the bottom, you actually will ammo rack this vehicle. 10 meter sickness, which is the bibs and bobs on the turn again, and also on the hull as well, which also above the engine deck. We got 12 meter sickness, which is the belly of the tank and bobs parts in the back of the hull. We got 20, which is the tracks, the little track link on the um, upper plate, and plus this little hatch right here. 25, which is the outer part of the belly of the tank, and plus the fighting compartment of the tank and above the tracks. We got 35 minutes thickness, which is the sides of the hull. We got 37, which is the rear of the turret. 40, which is the gun and the bottom part of the rear of the turret. And press the roof deck of the turret, and press the cupolas as well. 50, which is the near the driver's port and these little spots below left and right of the hull. 60, which is left and right of the gun mantlet. 67, which is the forehead and rear of the sides of the turret. 70, which is the turret ring. 80, which is the upper plate and the lower plate and one of the cupolas. 110, which is again is that mid plate on the front of the tank. 135, which is the left and right of the turret, and also the cheeks of the turret looks like too now. And the little like machine gun port, which is 140. 165, which looks like it is the cheeks a little bit. 175, which is the top and bottom of the gun mantlet. And 195, which is the middle of the gun mantlet itself. So yeah, that is the Type 74E. This thing just looks so freaking cool. I like how that big flashlight thingy is on the front of the turret right there. But let's move on. Let's go to the next tank, which is the Type 74G, which again it gets that little like thing, but just more different and stuff. So really awesome, really cool. I do like the idea. And again, this vehicle does lead into the next tank, but this time up to Evo 3, which is the TKX-0001, which is the top of the line of the Japanese main battle tanks, which hopefully these vehicles are going to have some armor. The vehicle will also get APFSDS, heat, and HE, so of course what you expect. And again, this vehicle also still gets the unique automatic suspension. I'm probably butchering that name so badly. So where that starts from, it starts from STB1 always way up to the Type 10. So not Type 10, Type Type 90. I'm thinking of the Type 10, which should have been, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So with your standard ammunition, you get 407 meters of penetration. With premium rounds, about 430. HE gets about 250. 460 alpha damage for both your standard and premium rounds, and about 570 for HE. Hit points is about 2,450, so a little bit more than the previous vehicle, but also keep in mind too that once you get the turret upgrade as well, you will also get a little bit more hit points, about maybe like another 100 or so hit points at that. And now it is time for the armor of this vehicle, which the STB1, the Type 74E, and what was the other one called? Type 74 and Type 74E and Type 74G all gets about the same type of armor. It's nothing too majorly different, but I always do like to talk about the armor because you never know, you might actually bounce something. So we got 6 mirror sickness, which is these bibs and bobs all over the hull and turn and press inside the fighting compartment. And press again if you shoot on this side of the bottom of the hull, you'll be hitting the ammunition and press, of course, that little flashlight thingy. 10 mirror sickness, which is the mouth flaps a little bit, and bits and bobs all around the turret, and again above the engine deck as well. We have about 12 meters thickness, which is the belly of the tank a little bit, and a little bit of the the little view rangefinders on the turret and the driver's port. We have 20 meters thickness, which is the tracks, and also that little track link as well, and plus the two little hatches on this side. Then we have 25 meters thickness, which is the outer bit of the belly and the flank compartment of the hull and the back of the turret hull as well. We have 35 meters thickness, which is the size of the hull. We have 37, which is the rear of the turret. We got 40, which is again on the bottom of the rear of the turret, and a little bit of the cupola and where the driver sits and the gun itself. We have 50, which is these two bibs over here on both left and right, and where the driver sits. 60, which is side left and right of the gun mantlet. We got 67, which is the forehead of the turret hull and left and right of the rear of the turret. We got 70, which is the turret ring. We got 80, which is the cupola and the driver's port and the upper and lower plate. We have 110, which is that mid plate again. And then 132, which is the cheeks and the sides of the turret. Then 140, which is again, leave the cheeks, can barely see them. 165, which it looks like again near the cheeks. 175, which is the bottom and top part of the gun mantlet, and 195, which is the middle part of the gun mantlet. So that's the Type 74G. Oh my goodness! Wow. Yeah, like I said, from STB1 to Type 74 to Type 74E and Type 74G, seems like they all have the same arm, which they are basically the same type of tank. Just, I believe, please miscorrect me if I am wrong, but the STB1 is a prototype of the Type 74 model, so yeah. But sadly, we do not get any other tank at Arrow 3 for the Japanese, which is kind of weird. I would probably put in the TKX first, and then the Type 90, and then maybe the Type 10 for the Japanese. But Wargaming did it this way some reason. I have no clue why. But yeah, this vehicle, dang, look at it. It just looks so freaking beastly. And it looks so weird looking at it in the front too, so not sure why. And again, it gets that same unique suspension where it says how fast it goes, so do keep that in mind, man. But this vehicle does lead into the Type 90, which I was going to say Type 10. I need to stop saying that, but it is what it is. And the gun gets about a PFSDS, a premium version of that ammunition, and HE. So, yeah. So, with your standard AP rounds or your standard rounds, you get 590 meters penetration. Premium rounds gets about 710. HE gets about 150. Damage is 510 for both your premium and standard rounds, and 640 for HE. Hit points is 3,650. So not that bad for this vehicle. And let's talk about the armor. It looks like this thing actually is going to have some good turn armor, unlike the previous tank. So the gameplay might actually change up just a little bit. But let's go over the armor. So we got 6 mirror thickness, which is the muff flaps and these spot right here on the side of the hull. I think that's it. And this little bit on the rear of the turret. Yeah. And I think those big things are gonna be weak spots on the tank. We got 10 mirror thickness, which is side bits right here on this side of the hull, which is space armor, and the muff flaps and the rear of the hull, and the cages around the like little. Oh, I think those are like night vision parts, and the forehead, the turret as well, and the engine deck. We have 12 meters thickness, which is the where the driver sits, and a little bit on the one cupola right there. 15 meters thickness, which is these two side bits right here, and a little small bit in the rear of the turret. We have 20, which is the belly of the tank, which looks like a boat shape kind of, and the sides as well, with also the other spots on the sides of the hull, plus the V-range finder or whatever you want to call those things, and the bottom of the turret as well, and the rear, this little boxing in the rear of the turret, and the top and bottom of where the ammunition gets stored. 25 meter thickness, which is the engine deck and defined compartment a little bit, and plus some spots of the rear of the hull. 30 meter thickness, which is the tracks, which acts like space armor, plus where the driver sits. 35 meter thickness, which is right behind all the tracks and the space armor, and the spot that's in between the where the crew sits and the ammunition sits. 40 meter thickness, which is the sides of the turret, which is the actual armor, and plus the upper plate or where the driver sits. 50 meter thickness, which is the front plate plus the sides of the turret and these little bibs on inside the tanks and the gun itself. 60, which is this little spit right here, which is the right in front of that little, I believe, night vision set. 65, which is the rear of the turret. 70, which it looks like more of the forehead, which because they basically say that's the forehead. 80, which is the turret ring and a little bit of the gun and these little cupola pieces. 100, which is these two side bits. 120, which is around the not gun mount, the turret ring. 145, which is these two spots right here where the drive wheels are. 200, which is inside the gun mountlet there. 220, which is on the bottom and top of the gun mountlet. 250, which is again around the gun mountlet. 315, which is the side bits of the front of the turret. 320, which is this little spot right here. 350, which is the left and right of the gun mountlet. 300, not 300, 410, which is that mid plate. 430, which is this plate right here on this side of the turret. 450, which is the lower plate. 520, which is the where the front drive wheel sits. 600, which is the gun mantlet itself. 700, which is left and right of the gun mantlet, or basically the cheeks. And 770, which is right beside the cheeks as well, and press the sides of the gun mantlet itself. So, yeah, altogether, the turret looks like it's going to be a real tough thing. So, whatever you do not shoot this thing at the turret. It looks like it's going to be a tough tank to take out from the turret, and the armor layout just looks so weird. But yeah, the TKX0001 is our first of our Era 3 Japanese main battle tanks. Next is the Type 90. About time we get here, right? Well, yeah. And plus, don't forget too, you can pick up a premium skin for this vehicle by playing through, I believe, a event that Wargaming is going to be having going on as well. So do keep that in mind that there is an event going for a skin for this vehicle as well. So yeah. But this vehicle does not lead into anything else, of course, because it's the last of the tank, or last of the vehicles within the line. The ammunition this vehicle gets is, of course, two different versions of the APFSDS rounds and, of course, HE. So, yeah. And again, this vehicle, like I said, they from STB 169 or whatever it's called, always way up to the Type 90 here, all gets that unique suspension. So, yeah. But with your standard ammunition, get about 590 meters of penetration. Your premium rounds 710, and your HE is about 150. Damage is 510 for both your premium and standard rounds, and 640 for your HE. You get about 4,000 hit points, which is pretty high up there. Actually, what's that check for, Independence Nation? So it's 150% less than the Markova. But let's go ahead and check about this nation with its in the top tanks, of course. So it's about 50% less than the Abrams, 100 less than the Leopard 2. It's actually more than the Leclerc, and it's about on par with the Challenger Mark 2. Huh. Okay, what about the Russian main battle tanks? Or in Chinese? So about 50% less than the Type T-72BU, and it's on par with the Object 640 Black Eagle. And what about this tank? So it's more than the Type 92. And what about this version of the T-72? So it's more than this one. So it's not the highest amount of hit points that goes to other main battle tanks, but it's probably up there. So yeah, at least you got some good hit points to mess around with. So the armor in this thing looks like it's going to be some of like a beast with its armor and stuff like that. So let's go look at them. So we got 3 mirror sickness, which is these side bits on the turret. We get about 6 mirror sickness, which is the loop of the mud flap inside the hull and the engine deck and over the turret, over the tank as well. 10 mirror sickness, which is the mud flaps of the rear and front, and plus the smoke grenade launchers, plus this little cage thing in the back of the hull turret, not hull. But we got 12 mirror sickness, which is around the one of the components and the driver port. We got 15, which is the rear of the hull. We got 20, which is the side armor. Yeah, it looks like the side armor a little bit in these spots on the turret on the top, and plus the roof of the top of the turret, and a little bit of the bottom of the turret as well with the what's it? Yeah, around the turret ring as well. We got 25, which is the belly of the tank and the fighting compartment and the engine deck as well, and plus a little bit on the cupola. Then we have 30 minute sickness, which is the tracks themselves, and plus the turret ring itself, and plus a little track link right here, and plus the cupolas themselves as well. We got 35, which is inside where it keeps the ammunition at. Minutes of thickness. We got 40 minutes thickness, which is the size of the turret, and the hull, which is the actual, I believe, the actual armor. We have 50, which is the upper plate, but inside the hull. Press the gun, press the left and right of where the ammunition gets stored. We got about 65, which is the rear of the turret. We got 80, which is the forehead. We got 90, which is around the gun. We got 100, which is these left and right bits on the turret. 110, which is the bottom part of the turret as well with the cupola. We got 120, which is in the gun mantlet. 150, which is left and right of the turret. We got 180, which is where is it? I do not see it. I absolutely do not see this, guys. I could be completely blind, but yeah, wherever that's at is 180. 190, which what there that one is, the bottom and top of the gun mantlet. Yeah, that's not around the gun mantlet, so I have no clue where that's at. But we got 200, which it looks like the turret ring itself again inside the gun. 280, which is that little part right there. 340, which is the top and bottom where the cheek sits. 350, which is that upper plate right there. 400, which is left and right of the gun mantlet. 500, which is both on the bottom of the turret on both left and right. 520, which is the near the cheeks of the turret. 630, which is this upper plate right here. 650, which is the gun mantlet, and 710, which is again the cheeks of the tank as well. So yeah, that's a pretty well armored tank. This is going to be a very well armored beast. I don't know how it's going to play out in the battlefield, but I am pretty excited for these Japanese main battle tanks in the game, and we're finally get to see them. Though I do have one thing to say. If I would say to Wargaming to change this up just a little, not too much, they could still keep the TKX and the Type 90, but instead push the TK back as the first Arrow 3, put the T90 as the second Arrow 3, and put in the Type 10 T90. Oh, did I say T90? Yeah, I did. Type 90. I'm sorry, guys. Both the T90 and Type 90, they both start with a T. So, yeah. But what I mean is that have the Type 90 pushed back as the the second one of our three, and put in the Type 10. I'm gonna get myself tongue twisted now. The Type 10 as the last of the tanks. So let's repeat this: TKX as the first Era 3, Type 90 as second Era 3, and the Type 10 as the, you know, top of the line of the Japanese main battle tanks. But Wargaming did it this way. Hopefully, they're going to add in maybe the Type 10, though I don't know where they would add it at. I believe I could be wrong. The Type 10 comes after the Type 90. Type 90 is first, yes. So where are they going to add in the Type 10? What are they going to add in between the Type 74G and the TKX? That's my. I don't know what they're going to be doing, but they should have done like that at least. But oh well, it is what it is. I gotta say, I'm just pretty dang excited that the Japanese are in Cold War with their main battle tanks. It's sad that we don't have the Type 10, but at least we get the Type 90 with a unique skin for it if you complete the event for the Japanese main battle tanks as well. So, yeah, grind your heart away for the new Japanese main battle tanks. Hate them, love them. Main battle tanks are here to stay, they're boys and girls. So, yeah, I'd like to know though, what's your opinion on these tanks? Do you like them all? Do you think Wargaming also should they add in World War II as the Era 1s, or should they not? Or what do you think about the Era 3? Do you think that they should have added in the Type 10? I was going to say the Type 90, the Type 10 instead of doing it this way. They should have added in the TKX and then the Type 90 and then the Type 10. Let me know what you think. Your thoughts about this line, or if you already are playing up it, and are you enjoying this new Japanese main battle tank line for World Tanks console? Like I said, I'm pretty excited for it. Though it just kind of puzzles me that they put it in the independent nation as well, but it is what it is. I am happy that the independent nation did get a new line. Just I was expecting us to go, to the east. As because Japan is allied to majority of the Eastern Alliance, um, area. So yeah, but I guess that's gonna be it for this one, though, guys. I really want to know what you guys think about this new Japanese main battle tank line. Let me know down below in the comments. But that's gonna be it for this video, there, guys. I hope you guys really did enjoy it. If you guys did, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys want to, and like always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye for now.